abafundi be-Maritime Economics. Ngibikelele nabo bonke abalaleli abakhona, nabo bonke abasizile, abasupportile ukuthi this program ibe successful ukuze sikwazi ukuthi size abafundi bethu. Nikhuluma noMembambo from Pendukani High School, Maritime Economics teacher, and we're having our second lesson. Last time we had the first lesson and was on maritime world. And Bafundi, I did explain to you that we are going to start with the low order questions so that when you get in an exam room, you start with those questions, you collect all those marks. I said you start with maritime world and then you move to the environmental challenges because these are the questions with low order questions and you must grab all these questions. When the show go to uthola marks, you grab ama marks owadingayo. And ungashine lodwa imark because at the end, these two questions, they are going to boost you ukuze ukwazi ukuthi uthole kahle i-level oyifunayo oyideservayo. And bafundi singakhohlwa ngaso sonke isikhathi ukuthi mawuqala ulibheka i-question, uvula i-question paper. I would advise ukuthi uqale ngalawa engiwasho amabili, maritime world kanye environmental challenges. And then you move to international trade because our next lesson will be on international trade. Then, shipping operations, where we are going to spend more time on shipping operations. But you are done with these three questions because I said you start with the low order questions and then we move to middle order questions, then high order questions. Then also question one, multiple choice. Then la usuthatha la marks la ongafanele uzuzwayeke. Right. Then today we're going to focus on environmental challenges. You know, learners, that the shipping operations or the maritime industry, it's also causing challenge to environment at sea. You know, bafundi, with at sea, we do have species. We do have life at sea. And all those species, they have a right to live. And we must make sure that we protect all those species at sea. We must protect the ocean because the ocean is so important to everyone. So we must try by all means to conserve the nature, to conserve the marine resources, to protect the ocean and make sure that we don't pollute the ocean, we don't destroy the ocean because it plays a very important role to different people. The ocean creates jobs for different people. The ocean promotes the economy of the country. The ocean tries to eradicate or to elevate poverty. So we must make sure that we take care of the ocean. Even though we are using these vessels because we have this ocean economy now. And as we are in this economy, we must also take care of the ocean. We must not affect the marine resources. We must not affect the marine species. We must make sure that we preserve the marine resources and then we preserve all the species that are in the ocean. Right. So, mfundi wami, sesiyaqala ke la kuma environmental challenges. We are looking at ama factors that they are posing a challenge ku ocean, and then how to protect, how to deal with those challenges so that we keep our ocean clean, so that we make sure that we promote or we protect the tourism industry. Okay? Because if our oceans are filthy, our oceans are not taken care of, our oceans are being polluted, then we're going to have a problem with tourism. We're going to have a problem with fishing. Is that clear? So I have points la, 5 important points that are posing in a challenge with environment and how to preserve or to conserve marine species to protect them. 1, we're going to talk about pollution. 2, we're going to talk about the ecosystem. 3, we're going to talk about biodiversity. 4, we're going to talk about fishing. 5, we're going to talk about tourism. Then, the last one that we're going to talk about, it's the effect of weather on cargo operations. So if you understand these topics, okay, especially these 5 main topics, okay, and then on top of them, then you also understand the effect of weather on cargo operations. So it means you have your 20 marks. Because our questions, they are going to be asked based on these things that I've just mentioned. So kubalulekile ke mfundi ukuthi to understand ukuthi when we're talking about pollution, how pollution can affect the marine resources or the marine species, how ecosystem can be affected, how or what do you mean by biodiversity, and then how fishing can be affected, how to protect the depletion of or the exhaustion of fish, how to promote and to protect tourism by taking care of our oceans. So these are the 5 important points that you need to understand as umfundi. And mawusubuza question lana, question kuzobalula ke ukuthi uyiphendule because usu understandile lezi zinto ezu5. All right, I'm going to explain each of these 5 points that are causing challenges kwi-environment, especially kwi-marine resource or marine environment. Right, the first point is pollution. Pollution poses a very big problem in an ocean. You know that if we're in a vessel, siyapheka, siyageza izitsha, okay? We do bunkering, okay? We have e-waste, solid waste that we're using during cooking in a vessel. And we cannot dispose that waste anywhere, anyhow. Just because we're in the middle of the sea, no one is seeing you, or we are born at you just dispose. It's wrong. You are polluting the environment. Whatever that you're disposing in an ocean, it's having a bad effect kuma marine resources, naguma marine species. Because at the beginning I said they have a right to live and we must take care of these resources. Because if you don't take care of these resources, somewhere, somehow, sizoshayeka, we're going to be affected. Sizoyithola ke even ama parents ethu engasenawo umsebenzi because of pollution, because of waste le esayidisposa in the middle of the sea sitshela ukuthi akekho sibonayo. So we must take care of our ocean. You must not pollute the ocean. All right. So let me start with the causes or the types of pollution. Number 1, we're having littering. Right. If you litter, and sit here, you are not even in the middle of the sea. Littering, it's wrong. And bafundi, fanele sazi sifundise nabanye abantu emphakathini wethu we must stop littering. We must not litter. We must organize or make sure ukuthi senza inike ama awareness, ama dangers littering. Ukuthi you can litter here, but iphepho lahle la lizohamba lizolofika in an ocean lihanjiswa yimvula lize lifike kwi-ocean. Malifika kwi-ocean, then if ufish ubreather or uthuthu uyakhamisa ufish bese uthathwa iplastic ke ugwinye iplastic leli, then iplastic lizochoka ufish and then fish is going to die. As ufish usushonile, then we're going to run short of fish, meaning that the fishing industry isizosafarisha manje. They have to cut inamba yama employees because inamba yo fish okufanele bababambe abasekho sebe exhausted babulawe yithi by littering. So let us teach each other ukuthi littering it's not allowed. Whether we are inland or ukuphi ke at sea, you are not allowed to do littering because littering affects ama species laphana in an ocean. Imvula ziyana zithatha wonke lo doti ziwulahlele okwi-ocean. Number 2, if you are littering plastic, I-plastic takes so many years ukuthi i-decompose, ukuthi ibole laphana phansi komhlabathi. So umhlabathi ngeke usakwazi ukuthi wenze njani ke ukwazi ukuthi ube fertile, ukwazi ukuthi uproduce lona ke masifuna ucultivator or sifuna ukutshala anything, because of lama plastic esiwalahlayo, then azobe elaphana phansi emhlabathini, and it will take years ukuthi yenze njani i-decompose. So littering poses a danger or a challenge kuphi marine environment. So let us stop littering. So tell your friends, utshele ke bonke even ekhaya ukuthi let us not litter. It's worse ke if you are in the middle of the sea. You are not allowed to do that. Okay? So littering causes pollution at sea, and the pollution is also affecting the marine resources kanye nama species. Number 2, then you know that if a vessel isizosuka iyaballastwa, okay, when we're ballasting a vessel we take sea water, okay, sea water, and then we put this sea water kuma ballast tanks, okay, to trim the vessel. Okay? Then when a vessel arrives in a particular port or with destination yayo, that vessel is not allowed to deballast, okay? Because lamanzi afakwe kuma ballast tanks angene nama species from another country, so they cannot be deballasted in another country. If we deballast, so it means they're going to affect marine resources, marine species of that particular country. Sekuzoxatshwana manje because abekho used kule environment la sebezolahlwa khona, and abajwayele nalabo abanye ke abakhona laba uthola ukuthi sekuzofa amanye ama-species akule country yethu or akule port yethu because of deballasting. So when you are about to deballast or you want to deballast, you must make sure ukuthi before you arrive, I think it's about 200 nautical miles before you reach a port, you can start to deballast in an ocean, not at the port. Okay? If you are not doing that, the port agent must organize tanks, okay? Tanks that are going to sanction amanzi, that are going to deballast basakhe amanzi from kuma ballast tanks, then bawa dispose again or bawa treat in a safe place, lying as good amanzi ke ocean is over contaminated by this deballasted water. I hope so as one abafundi. Okay, so we must try by all means not to pollute the ocean by littering, by deballasting. Utse so deballasta ke amanzi, so chitha ke amanzi aphuma from other countries kule ocean or we port yakwenye i-country, because ama-species that are in ballast tanks azoxabana nama-species ala kwi-port la sesifuna ukuchitha khona. Okay, right. Number 3, another thing. You know that I said in an ocean we do bath, okay? In a vessel we do take a bath, siyashawarisha, siyapheka, and then siyageza nezitsha. Okay? All right. So amanzi lawa esiqeda ukugeza ngawo sibiza ukuthi i-grey water. Okay? And then i-sewage, amanzi from i-sewage siwabiza ukuthi i-black water. And grey water and black water can also not be disposed in an ocean. Okay? Because if you dispose grey water and black water in an ocean, then marine species, they are going to die. So it means we're also going to have a shortage of fish manje. Then abazali bethu futhi, they are going to lose their jobs because the shipping industries, they are going to close down. Okay? What the port agent must do, when the vessel arrives at the port agent must organize the mobile tankers, the road tankers, to sanction this grey water and the black water. Okay? From our tanks. Then we will dispose somewhere where it is safe. Number 2, we do have solid waste. I-solid waste, we are talking about amaphepha, amaplastiki, konke lokho ebesikusebenzisa la in the vessel. Now, food cannot be disposed in an ocean. Once a vessel arrives at the port, then they must organize a skip to collect this solid waste, okay? And then they dispose it in a right way or right manner because we're protecting the marine environment. So I'm still talking about the challenges, the environmental challenges. I'm talking about pollution. So I'm talking about different types of pollution. Right. Then another thing, vessels can also collide. A vessel collide with another vessel. And then during a collision, then bese kuchitheka i-oil. Le oil that is going to pollute the ocean. Then it will cost the ship owner lot of money because sekufanele kucleanwe this ocean very quickly. Because if they don't clean the ocean very quickly, species, they're going to die. And sometimes they even take some of species, bawasege in a safe place, and then they clean the ocean very quickly. To clean the ocean, it's so expensive. That is why they try by all means, they have to navigate, make sure that everything is in order to avoid collisions. And again, if vessel can capsize, if its vessel is improperly stowed, cargo it's not properly loaded, then if vessel uthole ukuthi yenze njani ke capsizer, or if vessel ithatha another shape kuba khona hogging inqabuke phakathi nendawo because of improper stowage. Okay? So if a vessel has capsized, then again kuba khona inike pollution eyenzakalayo. Some fuel izospila kuphi in an ocean. Mayichithekela kwi-ocean, then iyapolluteka in i-ocean. That is another type of pollution. Then again, a vessel can also hit a floating object, either at the port or as ihamba. They did not do in navigation, and then the vessel hit a floating object. Floating object maybe during a bathing, it hit a floating object, then bese kuyacracka i-hull, uthole ukuthi sekuyalika i-oil, and then kuzoba ne-pollution. Then aya-affecteka ama-species at sea. Okay? I said iya-capsizer futhi, iphinde futhi ke i-vessel, uthole ukuthi i-vessel ihithe an iceberg. Yingakho ke ama-vessels or ama-navigators, they have to keep on navigating. Masikakhumbula kahle kuyi-Titanic. I-Titanic yasinka because they did not navigate properly, okay? Or maybe they were excited, kumnandi kwi-vessel, they forgot to navigate. And then yahita inike i-iceberg. And it was too late, beyibona i-iceberg. It was too close. And then yasinka. Nalana kuyenzeka uthole ukuthi if there is improper navigation, then uthole ukuthi they hit a floating object or a vessel hit an iceberg. My hit an iceberg, then iyacracka kube khona okulikayo, then kuzoyenze njani? Izochitha i-oil, then ipollute, isinke futhi ne-vessel. Alright, and then again, during bunkering, if a vessel is doing a bunkering, they are putting fuel with vessel. Then kuba khona inike ama drops or maybe ke large quantities of oil achithakala in an ocean. So during a bunkering, then kuba ne oil spill, and this oil spill is also polluting the ocean. When the ocean is polluted, logging shilo foot at the beginning, the marine species, they are going to suffer, they are going to be affected. And to clean the ocean, it's so expensive. I hope siyazwana bafundi. So when I get a question izophuma nje ke awusho mhlambe ke what should be done, okay, to protect inike ama vessels from ocean from pollution. Then usuzosho ukuthi we must not lead, okay? It ballasting siyenza kanjani? how to take out grey water kanye nani ne-black water, okay? And then if kube khona accident kuma-vessels a-collider, a-capsize ama-vessels, then yila kufanele kube khona emergency ke sekwenziwa emergency call, i-mayday call, kuzo-salvagwa masinyane, and then they do i-cleaning ye-vessel as quickly as possible. Right. Then if you can remember, recently, last week, okay, or 2 weeks ago, sizwile kuma news ukuthi a group of people were trying to steal crude oil from pipeline eThekwini. Okay? They're trying to steal crude oil. And then but damage the pipeline so that they can take this crude oil. During that breaking ye pipeline to take crude oil, kwaba nanige ne leak yachitheka oil in large quantities. And then kwasukwenzenjakalanike kwasukuba khona oil spilled kwi-ocean. Then kwa-affecteka ama-marine resources. So they had to take some of ama animals ukuthi ba-safe from this oil spilled, ukuthi bawabeke endaweni e-safe, bese kuyacleanwa ke-ocean masinyane. Then bese kuyaqhutshekwa with ama-operations at the port. I hope you understand Anna. Your question, your point that is pollution. But we need to take care of our oceans. Our oceans, they are so important. Our oceans, they bring health. Our oceans, they promote economy. Our oceans, they alleviate poverty. Okay? And as yes, that we turn again, umhlaba wethu, the whole world is covered by about 72% of water. And njengoba ku-covered ngamanzi, that is why kuna this ocean economy or blue economy, because there is a lot of economy at sea. We're also having mining that is taking place in an ocean. So during drill yama mineral resources, when they are extracting our mineral resources, there is some pollution that is also taking place. Okay? When they're drilling oil, lapha kwi-crust, laphana ke kuphike kwi-bed, kwi-seabed le phansi, and then kuba khona oil spilled again, then bese ba polluted futhi ocean. Yingakho ngaso sonke isikhathi kufanele kuhlale kube alert if there is pollution that is taking place, and then they clean the ocean as quickly as possible so that kungezi kuba khona abantu abazoba affected. Ngoba if the ocean is affected, ibuya kithi futhi la inland, nathi ke we're going to be affected because we have our jobs, we have umnotho at sea. We also have ama industries depend kuphike ku-operation or good banike lona ke stay ukuthi ocean ihlale good condition ukuze kuzokwazi ukuthi kusebenzeke kahle ngaso sonke isikhathi. I hope we do understand each other. Let us protect our oceans. Let us stop littering. And ama questions ke uzobona ke as time goes on ukuthi mabebuza bazobuza kanjani. Okay? All right. Then we're moving to pointless bill. Pointless bill, that is ecosystem. All right. When we look at ecosystem, there is ecosystem at sea. Njoba ngishilo ukuthi there are marine resources and they're depending. Okay? Kuzinto ezilaphana, there are plants in an ocean. Okay? And some animals, they feed themselves from those plants. Okay? And those plants that are depending on those animals that are depending on those plants, okay? If we damage these plants, so it means those animals, they are going to die because they are not going to have food to feed themselves. So we need to take care of all the marine resources, nama species. Because if we don't take care of the ecosystem, or if we break the food chain, we kill, maybe we destroy these plants in an ocean. So it means khona esinye species or another group of animals ezosafarisha ingeke saba nokudla izofa, and if they die, then another group on top will suffer because abasenako ukudla. I-food chain will be affected. Okay? We have any plants laphana, green plants. Okay? Kukhona ama-animals adepende kuwona. Then bese kuba nama-animals adla lama-animals adla green plants. Akuyini ke kukhona ama-herbivores. Then lama herbivores adliwa yini ke ama-carnivores. We have the first group of carnivores, the second group of carnivores, and the third group of carnivores. So when we're talking about the third group of carnivores, we're talking about Oshaga. Oshaga ba depende kuphi kulama second group of carnivores. So if we break i-food chain, kuba khona ini ke maybe the first carnivores aya affecteka, ayafa because they don't have food. Laphana kuphi ke kulabantu ke abadla ini ke ama plants, green plants. So it means Oshaga ke they are going to be very wild. Bazosihlangana impela because abasenako ukudla. So we need to take care of the ecosystem. We must not affect the marine species. Singa affect even ama plants laphana in an ocean. Right. If we look at a fishing method that was used before. A fishing method yila kufanele kwazi ukuthi it does not affect any ama plants. That is why these days they just throw ama nets, and ama nets that they are using to collect fish, they are designed in such a way that they are going to collect fish abawufunayo. If they need sardines, fish uzoba off there, ama-net akhona azoba mancane. If they want ihake, ama-size akhona azoba makhudlwana ukuze i-sardines izophuma ingangeni kwi-net. Okay? So, indlela ke ezani ke ama-trawlers, ama-fishing trawlers, they were affecting the ecosystem because they were scrapping ama-plants for these animals, for these species depende kuwona. Utsho ukuthi ama-species awasenako ukudla okuhlaza azokudla. I hope you understand it. Okay? So, whatever method, the fishing method that we're using must not affect the food chain, must not break the food chain, must not affect the ecosystem. Okay? All right. Then the next point, we're talking about the biodiversity. When we're talking about biodiversity, we're talking about marine conservation, meaning that we need to conserve the marine species. Okay? When we're talking about biodiversity, we're talking about the variety of plants and animal life in the world are usually considered to be important and desirable, meaning that all the animals and the plants in an ocean throughout the world, they are so important. They are so important and they play a very important role to each and every one. Okay? All right. Then biodiversity conservation means that we have to protect and preserve the wealth and variety of species. So we need to protect the variety of species at sea. When we're talking about biodiversity, we mean that we have to preserve, we have to protect all the species in an ocean. Okay? We have to preserve the wealth and variety of the species, the ecosystem. Ecosystem. When we're talking about biodiversity, biodiversity conservation means that we need to protect the ecosystem. We need to preserve the wealth and the variety of our species. All the species in an ocean, they need to be preserved, they need to be protected, they need to be taken care of. The ecosystem must be taken care of. We need to protect all the marine species. Okay? So it is important, this marine conservation, it's so important for our for our health, for our wealth. Okay? For our food. for our fuel, and even our services. We depend on our services as it depend on. Okay? Number one, tourism. Okay? It dependile kuphi kule biodiversity conservation. If we are not taking care of these species, so it means a particular country will not get ama tourist. Okushuthi tourism industry is going to be affected. Let us conserve. Let us take care of our marine resources. If we are polluting the ocean, it means ama penguins, for example, ngeke sakwazi ukuthi abe available in that particular place ngoba kube khona oil spill, ngoba kukhona oil spill chitheka oil, then sekufanele asuse obekwa in another place. So it means ayisekho into ezoba attraction to ama tourist. I hope siyazwana bantwana bami. I hope we do understand each other. Let us preserve our nature, our marine resources. So when we're talking about biodiversity conservation, we're talking about preserving, we're talking about taking care of the marine resources. All right. Then biodiversity, it's also biodiversity conservation. It's so important, very important for economic growth and poverty alleviation. When we're talking about economic growth, we're having the fishing industry, okay? In the fishing industry employs thousands and thousands of people. We're also exporting fish to other countries. So if we're not taking care of our marine species, our marine resources, so it means there will be shortage of fish that is going to be exported to other countries. 2, our parents, our brothers, our sisters, our aunts are going to be retrenched. They're going to lose their jobs. Okay? Number 2, if we lose our jobs, then it means we're going to have poverty because they won't get any income. Ukuze bakwazi ukuthi improve their standards of living. So, we need to take care of that. Okay? Number 3, when we're talking about the economic growth, I said if we take care of these marine species, it will promote a tourism industry. More people will come and there'll be a lot of attractions to our tourists. But if we are not conserving our marine resources, so it means we're going to lose the tourists. And then our tourists, when they're coming in our country, they are boosting the economy of the country. The tourism industry, it's going to improve, it's going to grow. Right? I hope I'm clear with biodiversity. Then the next point, it's fishing. If fishing plays a very important role, I did talk about fishing. I even said the different methods that are used must not affect or hamper the marine species or the ecosystem. So whatever method that they are using to collect fish, okay, must be user-friendly, must take care of the ecosystem, must also take care of the environment. So the fishing industry plays a very important role. I even mentioned to you that it also employs thousands and thousands of people. Lots of people are employed in a fishing industry, and lots of people are going to lose their jobs if we're not taking care, we're not conserving in the marine industry, the marine resources or the marine species. Right. So fishing and we need to control fishing, because if fishing is not controlled, fish will get exhausted. Once the fish are exhausted, then the fishing industry will be affected. People, they are going to lose their jobs, and our fishing industries, they are going to shut down or close down. Then i-question izoqhamuka ke ibuyithi ke umfundi ke. How to protect the fishing industry. Ngeke mfundi hlala ingabi khona leyo. How to protect i-fishing. Number 1, usuzosho ukuthi they have to set fishing quotas. Kwesinye isikhathi kuzophuma i-question ithi, what do we mean by fishing quotas? Fishing quotas, it's the minimum number or minimum amount of fish that must be collected per day. People who are in a fishing industry must not exceed that number that is stated, the fishing quota. It's the minimum amount. It's the number that must not be exceeded, okay, per day. Because they're trying to preserve, they're trying to save the exhaustion of fish. Ngoba if siyavuleleka nje sithi umuntu akadobeke ngendlela afuna ngayo, all fish, they're going to be exhausted. At the end of the day, we also know fish be shorter, and then mabe shorter fish, fishing industries loser, then abantu they're going to lose their jobs, and then they're going to close down the businesses. 1, they have to set the fishing quotas, and I've just explained what do we mean by a fishing quota. Number 2, licenses must be issued, meaning that only a person with a license will be allowed to fish. 3, people must not fish during a breeding season. Okay? 4, they must use the right equipments of fishing. Okay? Equipments that are not going to affect the ecosystem. Fishing equipments that are not going to affect the marine resources or the marine species. Number 4, they must have their patrollers, people who will be moving around, checking that people are complying with all the rules and laws stated for the fishing industry. Akekho umuntu ozenzelayo o-exceed ama-quotas or umuntu ofisha ngendlela yakhe ongalandeli yonke imithetho. Okay? I hope you understand lapho. Ngeke kungayitholi ke that question ethi awusho ukuthi ke how fishing can be promoted. Okay? Then usuzosho ukuthi fanele benze sure ukuthi they are not exceeding ama-quotas that are stated. Then sefanele baphinde bathini futhi bazi ukuthi they must have people who are going to patrol. Abantu, they must have fishing licenses ukuze bezokwazi ukuthi bafishe ngendlela esemthethweni. Okay? I hope yezwakala lapho bafundi, and uzokwazi ukuthi uphendule that question. Angeke uzusube nenkinga mase kuthiwa nakho usuyaphendula. Okay? Or uthola any question based on fishing. Okay? All right. Then the next point, the last one, because I said we have 5 points that are so important under environmental challenges. Okay? Then the last one, that is tourism. We did talk about tourism earlier on. I said we must take care of our resources, marine resources. If we're not taking care of our marine resources, we keep our oceans clean all the time, no littering, no pollution, then we're going to attract more tourists because they're going to have a lot to see, and the economy is going to grow because if our tourists are coming in, the tourism industry will grow and more money will come in our country because more people will be coming in because there are a lot of attractions. But if our oceans are so filthy, they are so dirty, we don't take care of our oceans are not cleaned, and we don't have any attractions, then we're going to lose tourism industry. It's going to go down. It's going to lose tourists, and they're not going to get more tourists, and they're not going to have attractions as or attract the tourists in our country. So let us keep our oceans clean. Let us make sure that we don't pollute the ocean. And we do have organization. UMAPOL is responsible for ensuring that there is no pollution. It's anti-pollution organization or convention or code. So that MAPOL yenza sure ukuthi there is no pollution at sea, and yenza sure ukuthi ocean it's always clean, it's taken care of. Okay. Earlier on, I did talk about the deep ballasting and the littering, and also the grey water and black water. They have to use a system that is not going to affect the ocean. So UMAPOL iyona organization ebhekelela ukuthi pollution does not take place in an ocean. Okay? And another thing, laphana pollution, si mentioned ama causes of pollution. Then again, if a vessel has gone aground, kuba nani ke ne leak kuyachitheka I-oil, and then bese kuyapollute ke ini ke I-ocean. So that is why ngithi UMAPOL play a very important role ukuthi clean the ocean, athi take care of the ocean, athi ensure ukuthi ocean is always clean, ukuze bonke abantu sizobhenefitha, ukuze sonke sizoba happy about ama oceans ethu azohlala good state, good condition. Even ama species in an ocean nawo futhi azokwazi ukuthi aphile kahle, athole right food, and there will be no inike breaking yani ye food chain. Bonke inike abantu ke ama species azokwazi ukuthi athole ukudla ngendlela right. Then saphinde sakhuluma ke sengisamarize ngani ke lama points awu5 ngebiodiversity. Uthi biodiversity ke conservation wa conserving the ocean, wa taking care of the ocean. Okay? Wa making sure ukuthi the ecosystem is taken care of. Okay? The marine species are also taken care of. Then bese siba ne fishing. We're talking about fishing. I did explain to you that fishing plays a very important role because thousands and thousands of people are employed in a fishing industry, and we need to take care of a fishing industry. Okay? Then the last one, that is tourism. Then we need to make sure that our oceans are always clean, and we take care of our oceans, okay, to attract our tourists. When our tourists are coming in, then the economy will be boosted, the economy will grow, and poverty will be alleviated. I hope I'm clear with these environmental challenges. And question noma bese iphuma ngayiphi indlela usuzokwazi mfundi wami ukuthi ukwazi ukuphendula. And la kuma environmental challenges kuya kuba u20 marks, and efanele uthole lo 20 marks mfundi. Usiyo eda nale make lapha na ku Maritime World, then usukwazi ukuthi uthole level 2 before siye kwamanye ama questions. So it's so possible ukuthi uthole level 5 to level 7 if ulandela lama questions njengoba ngishilo ukuthi we are having ama low order questions. Siqala ngawo ama low order questions okuyi environmental challenges kanye ne Maritime World. Ama questions alana, they are simple and straightforward. Ungawuyekela u2 marks. Lo 2 marks iwona ozokueda egcineni ukwazi ukuthi uthole ama marks azokuthatha akubeke ku level 2 with just 2 questions ula esengwashilo engithe siyawenza. Then the last one, that is the effect of weather. Qedile ngalawo 5 ama environmental challenges engithe nje wona ufanele siwabheke. Okay? Ahlale ke ngqondweni yakho mfundi. Pollution, ecosystem, biodiversity conservation, then fishing ne tourism. Lawo 5 ungena ku exam room nje uyawazi. Okay? Then the last point that we're going to talk about, that is the effect of weather on cargo operation. The effect of weather on cargo operation. All right. When we're talking about the effect of weather, you know with weather, certain cargo cannot be handled when we're having certain weather conditions. For example, if we're dealing with weather-sensitive cargo and it's raining, so it means the operation has to stop. Okay? No operation will take place if they storm, it's raining. And again, if there are strong winds at the port, then our operations cannot take place. Says one of our friend. So, sikhuluma nge-weather sensitive cargo. Weather sensitive cargo. We're talking about grains. We're talking about grains. We're talking about cement. Okay. Grains sifaka noshukela lapho. You cannot handle ushukela when it's raining. Okay. Because izoba damaged cargo and it will take more weight. Mayisithatha i-weight enkulu usungena emkhumbini le weight lena esibanjwe yilike i-rice for example, then i-vessel i-cargo isizo exceeda i-dead weight yani ye-vessel, then i-vessel isizoba kwi-danger isingasinka nanokusinka because i-cargo isi more than i-dead weight of the vessel. So when it's raining, we have to stop. No operation. And again, if there are strong winds, we have to stop. Because i-cargo ingaba affected even if we're dealing with containers. If those strong winds, i-cargo ke izowenzejani ke ngagcina ama-containers nawo affectekile uthola ukuthi i-handling equipment ayikwazi manje ugrabha kahle the cargo, then bese ba damage i-container ne-cargo inside ibe damage. That is why when we're talking about when we're dealing with voyage calculations, then we have to consider the stoppages, hours for stoppages. Okay, there was rain. Rain lasted for 4 hours or 3 hours or 2 hours. We have to consider those hours. We add those hours so that we get the exact time esizoqeda ngayo i-cargo work and the exact time when the vessel will depart. So all the time, we have to consider the hours, the stoppages are caused by a bad weather condition or bad weather conditions. So, it affects weather, it affects cargo operation. So no operation will take place. So it means there will be stoppages. We have to stop, or they have to stop until the weather is clear, until isimo sibe right for ukuthi kukwazi ukuthi kuqalwe futhi kwenziwa operations, because it's not safe, it's so dangerous, ingakhoza inike accidents nama damages amakhulu angalidela to expenses are high. Okay, so we're talking about the effect of weather or during a cargo operation at the port. I hope I'm clear. And bantu abami ngiyacela ukuthi sibuyeleni futhi sibhekene ama-questions, because le cargo operation ibibuziwe futhi nge-trial. Ake sibuyeleni kuma-previous question papers ethu and try to answer ama-questions under environmental challenges nama-questions under maritime world, so that sizobona ukuthi siyakwazi ukuwathola wonke lama-marks. Let us take all these marks, singawayekeli kulama-marks, because ngisalokhu ngi-emphasize indaba yani yama-low order questions. Maritime world and environmental challenges, they're having low order questions, and kufanele siwagrabhe wonke lama marks, singawayekeli singawashiyi, siwathathe ukuze sokwazi ukuthi si by the time siya kuphi kuma middle and high order questions sesiwuthathile ubani ke or sesinawo level 2. Ngiyabonga kakhulu ngesikhathi nokuthi ningilalele. Thank you very much. And our next topic will be on international trade. Sesimuvela to ama middle order questions. That is our next topic, international trade. Thank you so much. Ngiyathemba ukuthi sizwile and sizohamba siyofunda sibuyele back kuma previous question papers. Si answerishe all the questions esinikeze wona. Ngiyabonga kakhulu. Thank you so much. See you next time.
Siyanibonga ngokufunda nathi. Siyanimema ukuthi nithamele futhi nakusasa. Ningazithola lezi zifundo ekhasini lethu lika Facebook elithi Go Digital SA Foundation na ku YouTube elithi Go Digital SA Foundation. Ziyatholakala na ku Khosi FM njalo ngoLwesine kusukela ngo9 kuya ku10 ebusuku. Ningasithola nango WhatsApp kwinamba yethu ethi 068 151